Ooh, Scott from Wessex Blades. Now it's 25 to 10 at night on Tuesday, and I was going to be doing a little bit of my leather sheath work because I got the needles today, and I've had a long-winded evening because I found a phone on the way home from work, and I've actually managed to get in contact with the owner and got it back to him. So I've had a real run around this evening and picking up nature with a bit of a PC, bit of spares and all the rest of it. So tonight would have been just to chill out because I've been so busy, rush off my feet, forget about the leather. Unfortunately, I can't let this lie, because what I don't want to happen is a big detailed comment left on my site without any form of response whatsoever, and you'll see what I mean with the video. Scott from Wessex Blades. Leave your comments underneath. Oh, Scott from Wessex Blades. I've had a bit of a response from Bushcraft magazine. Someone, is it Valley Boy or something? Double check on me. I brought me computery laptop thing out. I think it's called Valley Boy, and I dare say his name was Dean. So what's happened is Bushcraft magazine have answered, "Hi Dean." So don't anybody give him a hard time about that, because they might have thought it was his video as opposed to mine. So the fact that it starts with Dean was not the end of the world. But in terms of getting a response, we've got, not to say through to them, right, but our message has got to the Bushcraft magazine. So if I read it out, you can see it because it's actually there twice. Hey ho. So anyway, hi Dean, but don't worry about it. Right. It's always good to see people's videos, and we appreciate the great feedback that we have received about this year's show, despite the weather not being favourable. Yeah, fair play. Yeah. We also appreciate constructive feedback, as it helps us to continually improve the show. So they actually welcome constructive feedback. With regards to your comments, so I think they think I'm Dean, but no worries. I thought to share some answers with you here. Now, in terms of the writing and the punctuation, it's all very, very it's top-notch stuff. These guys do magazine. These guys, whether they got a degree in something or other, but it's all very, very up together. Firstly, with regards to the arrival time, this comes out quite well. This is carefully considered and is set at 2 PM to allow people to arrive at the venue and get set up and settled before the show begins the following day. Because the end of the day, it's actually Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, yeah. The site, both for health and safety and insurance purposes, is classed as a construction site until 2, because the vehicles moving cables, yada yada yada, immediately set up and areas roped off. If we set the time to 11, as you suggest, people would arrive at 9, because as you say, people like to arrive early. Yeah. So far, this is all ambling along quite nice. We have had the time set as midday in the past, so we still have people waiting again at 7. That is actually quite early, isn't it? That's got to 5 hours, So, yeah, okay. If people respect that there is no access until 2, you've been told, to get there for this time or a little after, then we'd not have the chaos on the roads caused by people arriving hours earlier than the event and blocking the roads. We created a holding area, and the people moved off the site this area are still among the first to have access to the show. Yeah, but what I found was it wasn't just the stipulation of vehicles that had awnings. It seemed to be there were any vehicles seemed to be there. That's the only odd thing with that one. With regards to camping with vehicles, there are strict rules that relate to this. Here we go. These include potential for vehicle movement in a crowded campsite if you had to leave, if you had a crisis. Right, also fire risks because of open fires and stoves, close proximity to a vehicle, fumes if people want to run their engines, all this I hadn't thought about. Okay, yeah. People turning their Land Rover on to charge their laptop or something. Noise pollution, want to sit and get warm or listen to the radio or Metallica. Okay. All in all, so far it's all quite happy. Most similar events do not allow camping with vehicles either. The exception to this is where the vehicle is part of the accommodation, and a lot of these issues that people had problems with is that their vehicle was part of like an awning or a tarp setup, so it was actually part of the camper van vehicle with a roof tent, or people were registered disabled. So what people might have thought was because they're clipping their stuff on the side, it is actually part of their system, and thought they could get away with it. Okay. The other consideration when it comes to vehicle parking is that it's everybody like you, so, okay, want to park with their vehicle at the camp so they can quickly fill and be a totally different atmosphere in the campsite. Also, due to the fact that I was taking these 4 blades alone are more value than my car. That's without the banjo. 700 quid. The guitar. 300 quid. There's a lot there that I was taking. But it's very expensive. And you've got security issues. Now, if I'd have known, no, I wouldn't have took it. But I didn't know. I'll come to another little thing in a minute. Yeah. Like part of the vehicle, it would fill and be a totally different atmosphere in a campsite. Now that's a good one. If it was car tent, it wouldn't be quite the same as tents. But what maybe they didn't get the point of was this: car park was mushed, field wasn't. So if there were more cars on the field, the car park would have been far better, and the landowner wouldn't have had anywhere near so bad a version of where the car park was, and ever so slightly more damage in the rest of the field, but it wouldn't have been carved up. The car park, that was my point. Car park was completely churned, trenches. The field was fine, and there was loads of vehicles on the field. In light of the fact that people do not travel as lightly as others, or not as able, we have several utility vehicles available on site to assist people. That's nice to know now, because when I did get my pass, of which you'll still see 5 tokens there, unused, when I did get my pass, and I said, because I'm going to take it with the car, and he went, no. I said, well, I got maybe 1/4 of a ton of gear. Could well have been 200k of it. 5 people after myself and Funky took some stuff in, so it's basically 7-man stuff. Not because I don't travel, because I haven't got the skill set to only deal with traveling light, but because I had so many people ask me to bring certain things, because there was actually an opportunity for them to meet me. That's why I travelled heavy. I like the fact that I know the others, you had vehicles available on site to assist people taking their gear to a camping spot. Wasn't informed. Those on standby to parking area throughout the day. Detailed on the website. I hadn't planned to go. It was a gift. Despite your labour, should you have asked for assistance, we'd have been arranged. Well, the guy on the gate never mentioned it. But he was fine. The guy on the gate, he was a star. Whatever. Yeah. As I said in my other video, car park guys were pretty good. There were people throughout the woodland with tarp and hammock service from walking around the woodland. There are plenty of places which was viable. Yeah, as single people, not as groups together. Despite your late arrival, I completely agree that the brash, to me brash is rocky areas and sort of, but actually means brush, in various areas should have been tidied, and this formed part of our agreement with the estate agent and his forester. Unfortunately, some was left behind. We didn't worry about the amount of wood left behind, it was just the fact that it was so large. It didn't matter, we were right. With regards to being a chopping block, Here we go. We are bushcrafters, and as such create and improvise the tools and surroundings that we need. Well, I wasn't going to chop a tree down to make a chopping block. Someone else chopped a tree down. I think they got asked to leave. In a survival situation, you'll be classed as lucky to even have a knife. What we sort of do in survival scenarios now, eh? Evidence showed that many people found and used stumps or carried along to early use chopping block. Yeah, but I was doing it Sunday. I didn't need one up to then. There weren't none left. The weather was particularly inclement. Yeah, no worries. In cause of issues, we had no control of the weather, but took resolve the effects the best we could. We found alternative parking for issues on Saturday. Unable to get a temporary roadway on a bank holiday. Well, he looked into it, but it's a bank holiday. We took advice from various about using straw, and they worked out he was going to not allow it to dry up quicker. Despite the mud, plenty of people commented they had fun, even though some of the mud had made it more an adventure and an element of fun. On that note, I do sympathise with disabled visitors and those with small children in pushchairs. It was unfortunate that the weather turned out as it did. Yeah, but we still haven't had a answers to why they pulled the toilets away from the disabled area. So you haven't actually answered that yet. I've been to other events, including the one you mentioned. Must be a bushcraft show. Or twice it was a complete washout because of the weather. And things considered, we think we did the best of the situation. About. There's a lot that goes on in the background. Yeah, I know. I work in a school. There's a hell of a lot goes in the background of that too. Yeah. Which the public are not aware of. A great team who worked relentlessly to ensure that people had a good time and got vehicles out. Yeah. Car park guys. They got stuck in, definitely. And then here we go. Now we start throwing it in my court now. I don't know. And now, what I don't want to do is get the wrong tone of voice, because the problem with text is you can't get the inflections and the mood and the timbre of what they're saying. This is why I much prefer video, because you can tell by the mood and the delivery and how it's being said and the tone and everything else. But I'll just do it as sterile as I can, okay? I don't know if you have had experience of organising an event to cater for up to 10,000 people, including provision of talks, activities and entertainment. No, you don't. And also the amenities and services that need to turn a field into a space that can accommodate people camping. No, but you have, and you've done this before. Or if you have ever tried sourcing a venue big enough to accommodate the many people option and have open fires, woodman camping access to a lake. Well, Funky and Roach did it first time. The bushcraft show has gone from strength to strength, and each year, including this, we get a large number of cards. I've seen the cards that Marty Bushcraft had. A little kid did a little crayon drawing, yeah. Emails and comments saying how much people enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the show. My video was on information and opinions that I picked up. You state most people's appraisal of the bushcraft show was it wasn't that great, it was okay, didn't really enjoy it. Well, here we go on the vagaries of the English language. When I say most people, that's of the people I've met and of the people I've communicated to. I haven't gone around systematically interrogating everybody on site. So when I say most people, that would be if I met 100 people. If 52 said they'd had that would be most. The proportion is even higher, but I'm not going to state it. I'm just saying most. The statistically correct. What is your source to qualify this comment? And here we go again. Because he's in publishing and he does a magazine, things along this sort of professional nature obviously need qualifying, quantifying. Yes, I understand that entirely. It was called 400 views, however many comments I had, how many thumbs up on my images, and virtually every comment on that video agreeing with me. Or at least, not on me, but on the points that I was making of the information that I got. We'll come back to those impressionable people who are completely under my influence later. Okay? What is your source to qualify this comment? Have you really spoken to most people from the show? No, what I said was of the people that I've met most, from what I've heard most, from what I've heard most. If I spoke to 10 people and 6 people said, that would be most people. I can assure you this comment is not accurate. Okay, you might have spoken to more people. I personally towed 100 cars out the field after the rain and rendered it difficult to leave. Yes, I unhitched every car asking how their day had been. I was very surprised. I just moved it, so it's just jumped. But not one person complained about the rain or the mud. I didn't complain about the rain. All the comments that people that had fun. Okay, enjoyed it, and the mud have made an adventure. No, yeah, fine. People travel from places as whole for the day, saying they'll be back again next year. Others said don't let work the experience with the weather put you off doing it again. Yeah. But there were actually people from even further afield, if you may have been aware. Marty from Holland. There was those 2 brothers from Spain who did a knife with jacklaw. The guys from Ireland who travelled over 800 kilometres. So I'm aware of people who travelled even further than Hull. So this, coupled with other comments that we have received and people booking early birds, I suppose that's booking up front first, qualifies him to say that the majority of people in true spirit of bushcraft and survival got stuck in, made the best of it and enjoyed themselves. Okay, so now here we go. Don't know why this come out of it. There will always be the odd ones who moan. So now I'm singled out. I'm the one stuck my head up against the parapet, right? Okay. And there will always be the sheep who follow, and this hurts, such people. Ooh, okay. And subsequently try it on. But if, as both hardy British citizens, now we're going to the British Reserve thing in a minute, I want to make a comment on, aware of our fickle weather, and as bushcrafters we cannot make the best of a situation, then we are not really either. Now one thing I do know about British people is that we don't complain. This beef isn't really done the way I want. These chips are a bit cold. Everything alright with your meal? Oh yeah, lovely. 40 Towers makes fun of those idiosyncrasies in the British comment. The 2 old ladies in the dining room moaning and complaining about the food. Everything alright, ladies? Oh, that's Mr. Faulty. So if you've literally just towed someone out the car at the mud, you've done a massive favour. The last thing you expect would be a tirade of abuse. Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't. I had a whale of a time. I said I had a whale of a time. But my point on my video was that the majority of the people that I had got in contact with, compared to previous bushcraft shows, had a lot of concerns. The comments underneath on the previous video, that qualifies me and quantifies all that criticism, all those notes, all those ideas. P.S. Send in your suggestions as to how we can assist to create a meeting point for the YouTube social media groups. Woo. As even if we designate a specific meeting point, which could have been the main arena or the main teepees, how would you all know what time to meet there? Because it would be on your program. How would you avoid missing each other? I would have thought exchanging mobile phone numbers would be best. I hardly use my phone. The only other way I can see is you have someone manning the meeting point full time who can relay numbers and messages. So it doesn't like he can be bothered to do that. A response, great. Expertly written. Oh, yeah, fine. There's no grammatical errors. His ellipses will have exactly 3 dots in. The speech marks in the right place. The odd comma missing after the show. Speech marks, comma, capital W would be some form of punctuation there, but that's just picking hairs, isn't it? But when they start going, there'll always be the odd ones who moan, and there will always be the sheep who follow such people. So in a nutshell, I think the throw it back to us sort of tactic that there is there. Bushcraft magazine have responded to me, but they still haven't responded to Will, Dusty Pilgrim, the disabled man who got put in a disabled area, whose the toilet block got took away from. The disabled man trying to flag down that ATV would have been fine just jumping in the back, and couldn't get these people's attention in order to get a lift every now and again. The disabled person whose water pipe was miles away from where he actually was. Good job he was with a group of understanding people who helped him out. Very much a throw it back at us, and ooh, well, we're all bushcrafters, aren't we? Well, yeah, bushcrafters and British, but the only snag is you've left out another load of people in there somewhere. There's preppers, there's campers, there's glampers, there's survivalists, not mentioned, not recognised. I mean, there were some people there with kit that must have been, I don't know, 20 grand's worth. Okay, fine. But always be the old ones who moan, and there will always be the sheep who follow such people and subsequently try it on. So I must be the odd one, odd I'm guessing statistically, numerically lower, who moan. I thought he said he liked constructive criticism. Okay, when you have a disabled area, don't take the toilets away. Okay, back down. There will always be the sheep who follow such people and subsequently try it on. So if you think that he means is I'm the odd one who moans, and everybody who's agreed with me, you're the sheep. Ow. Any need of that? Don't think so. So don't know why they handled that quite like that. Comments underneath. We've got the message across. But when it comes to virtually every comment on the previous thing, which is just basically leave your comments, I don't think I had anybody who said, what are you on about, you big fat wuss? Just get on and join the party. It wasn't like that. When I was in this camp, I was in that camp, everybody was comparing it to the previous location. Now obviously, if the previous location was booked out, and he's come up with this one out of the, with sort of 4 months notice, okay, he's got a big load of land, he's got woods for pitching, he's got permission for fires, and he's got a lake. Pretty good. Yeah, not bad. But we're still wanting a definitive answer for, sticking disabled people in an area that wasn't really closer to anywhere. You take the toilets away from them. Comments underneath. Big moaner with 5,000 sheep.